thank you so much for being here today. It's great to
I
have you.
appreciate it. No, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you directed two deeply cultural, insightful films that involve athletes stepping outside of their athletic scales. Where did you find this initial spark for these ideas, or was it handed to you? Did you have to go seek it out? What was the kind of process of that?
So I've been in the NBA sports media my whole career. I started my career at the NBA under international marketing under David Stern, and a lot of my work was around the global side of basketball, the expansion, the marketing of the game around the world. So, you go back to '92 with the Dream Team with Michael Jordan, all those guys, right? So this has been a big push around the NBA, around the global, cultural, all these stories, right? So when I was at the NBA, I saw that there, and I built my career off of the NBA, media, marketing, all that type of stuff. But my real niche was off-the-court storytelling around culture, around players going back to their hometowns or back to where they're from with their families. And just, the thing about the NBA, it's the most remarkable athlete from the United States. Obviously, soccer, right? You can't compete with soccer. But from the United States, there's nothing more remarkable than an NBA player. They're tall, they got the looks, they larger than life, personalities, they could dunk, they got the crossover, all that type of stuff. They got the fashion appeal. So the global side is a welcoming door for them. So as I grew my career, I always wanted to be around the global side. As I launched my company 6 years ago, my one word was make it an amazing global storytelling platform. So these two right here represent my passion, but it's also where players want to be, where they want to go, how they want to live their lives, where their families are from, and just the marketability of these stories. And I think it also gives fans a really, really cool close-up, why I call my company CloseUp360, is that fans can't see this stuff on a daily basis. So I like to give them that access and that close-up perspective from a 360-degree view to take them inside these very cool off-the-court lives that really I built my niche off of my career, but also what I'm doing in a very special way now. So.
Absolutely. And with your goals and your audience in mind, what is the kind of biggest reward of telling stories like these? Because it is a very unique perspective.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think there's a few. I think one is when I talk to a player, sometimes they're a little hesitant, like, oh, I have to have cameras around me, I have to do this, I got to do that. And sometimes they're like, it's a little bit too much. But when their eyes light up to see the finished product, that's an amazing moment. And they like, Jared, send me photos. You got any breakout videos? Or they want to post it. They get really excited, and I think that's really, really cool. There's a lot of content creators out there that do social photo, as you know, Erin. There's a lot of content creators, but from a premium level storytelling, Netflix style, it may not be an hour long, but we produce really, really high quality stuff that players just don't usually do or see. And also, we're very athlete-focused, so in the world of like a lot of the bigger stars, we focus on guys like Kyle Anderson and Jaime Jaquez. They're not big names yet, but they have very cool stories. So the way I approach athletes, I used to work for the NBA Players Association, so I work with all the players, so I know all of them. I know all the reps, agents, publicists, stylists, trainers, tattoo artists. I've worked with all of them, so I know where to go. I really try to kind of bring that viewpoint into their lives. That's a big reward, just the players, and then obviously the fans. You can't miss the fans. I think the feedback that they see and the emotion that they get to see these stories, like they really appreciate. Oh my God, I didn't know that side of them. Now I'm seeing that side of them, so that's also very rewarding too.
Absolutely, and was that one thing that really drew you, for example, to Chinese heritage, to Kyle Anderson's story, or was it kind of a mix of a lot of things that really made you interested in pursuing this as a film?
Yeah, so I'll kind of speak to both just a little briefly. Yeah. So with Chinese Destiny, I met Kyle back in 2018 with his mom. I met them at their summer basketball camp, community outreach initiative in New Jersey, where he grew up. And that was really the focus, but one little thing stuck out to me. Kyle's mom, Suzanne, said to me that they had found their Chinese family or something like that. It was a very small thing, but to me, that's where my eyes light up. That's okay. I gotta dig into this. So we got some of the footage that year in 2018, but then we followed the story. We went back to China in 2023, and when he actually went back again, not only did he go back, but he became a Chinese naturalized citizen, and then joined the Chinese national team. So what started off as just seeing his family, and for the first time, and Suzanne too. Then that led to him actually becoming a citizen of the country. So we kind of told the story of the full circle of all that happened. So that's how that happened. With Milan, I'm from Miami. He was drafted by the Miami Heat, Jaime Jaquez, and he represents Mexico, which there's not, as you know, there's not many NBA players from Mexico at all. I mean, even Latin America is a very small. They mostly play baseball, as you know, or soccer. So from Mexico to Miami, and then I heard that from his rep, Justin from CA. He said they're going to be going to Milan. So I was like, okay, Mexico to Miami to Milan, there's something there, right? And not only that, he's bringing his dad with him. It's Father's Day. Not only that, small town in Mexico, didn't grow up, the best way with all the, resources. to be at the highest level of fashion in Milan, there was a really interesting story there. Because I don't think a lot of people realize that when you're at Milan or Paris Fashion Week, that's like the pinnacle of off-the-court branding. There's nothing bigger than being in those moments. Those doors, Armani, are you kidding? Like that's really what fueled me with that one too.
Absolutely. How do you think kind of stories about identity and culture are reshaping, because obviously you've worked with the MBPA, you've kind of seen the inside. How do you think it's changing the overall culture aspect of the sport?
I mean, you look at the NBA right now, it's so remarkable. Everybody wants to know what these guys are doing off the court. You know, like look at Netflix starting five and court to goal and all these, you know. We're obviously, you know, we're in a social media era of just so much like access and lifestyle and fashion and all this type of stuff. There's nobody more that represents that more than an NBA player. They represent everything from the street ball to the moves to the court to the tattoos to the good looks to the height to the all-star weekends to the festivities to the brand to the commercials to the. I mean, there's so many marketing pinpoints with NBA players. So the identity is around the player, then the culture. Like for example, with Milan Fashion Week, they want NBA players there. Like it wasn't like that years ago. I think a player that really helped start that was Russell Westbrook. Obviously, look at James Harden, Dwayne Wade, those type of guys. For years, these players weren't accepted in these settings. Now, I was just in Milan and Paris literally 3 weeks ago for this year's Fashion Week. There was probably like 30 NBA players in Paris. Out of any other sport, there was nobody more represented than the NBA player in Paris. So it's a really special time. I think that's really cool about the identity culture of players, and why I do a lot of work with other athletes too, but my focus is the NBA and WNBA too, by the way. We just work with J.C. Sheldon with the Connecticut Sun. But a lot of it is because it's just so representative of culture, and basketball is played everywhere, easy to play, right? Just need a basketball. You can put up a little, tire on a tree and just shoot. So I just love like what it means. It's like it really is like a universal thread of life, and that's what I love about it.
I love it. You mentioned you also are into working with the WNBA, which is very important. We've learned a lot about this. How do you think you are going to incorporate that in your film work with CloseUp360?
Yeah, obviously we've done a few so far. I've worked with Shanae, I've worked with J.C. Sheldon. I'm trying to do more. I think the biggest thing with the WNBA is there's a lot of crossover with the NBA too. I've done obviously stories around brothers and sisters that kind of support each other. Also a lot of trainers I work with also train WNBA players. A lot of stylists too, like my friend Courtney Mays. She styles Chris Paul and Kevin Love, but also she styles Breanna Stewart and a few others. So there's a lot more crossover building. I think we're just starting to see that. I'm trying to get more into it. For me, it's we got WNBA All-Star Weekend coming up, which is really cool. So I'm definitely pursuing more. I want to do more. I want to also get these ladies to Fashion Week in Paris. Like Paris Fashion Week is not just the men's side. There's also the women's Fashion Week. So I would like to do more on the fashion side, and that's something that really motivates me. Is just like all the marketing around the WNBA player. So stay tuned. I'm going to say just stay tuned. You'll see.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very excited. It sounds really interesting. You're blending sports with cultural aspects all around the world, which is really impressive through your filmmaking. And absolutely, thank you so much for being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will be on the lookout for your next ideas and your next projects.
Thanks, Erin. I appreciate you having me.